A building is on fire. Flames have already taken the second floor. And pulling up outside is a vehicle that, from the curb, looks like it carries hoses and ladders. It carries a lot more than that. Most people have seen a fire truck hundreds of times, parked outside a station, rolling through a neighborhood, lights going. And most people assume they understand what it is: a big red truck with water in it. What's actually built into that machine would stop you cold if you saw the full inventory laid out on the ground. We're going to walk through every hidden system on a modern fire truck, in the order a crew actually uses them, from the moment the call comes in to the moment the fire is out. By the end of this, that red truck parked outside your local station is going to look like an entirely different machine. The outside tells you almost nothing. The compartments running along the sides of a full-size pumper truck are not a toolbox. They are a precision-organized emergency response system, engineered to be accessed by someone wearing thick, insulated gloves, in total darkness, with adrenaline running, in under 10 seconds. Every single piece of equipment has a fixed, designated location. Not because firefighters are tidy, because in a structure fire, reaching into the wrong compartment for 3 extra seconds can mean the difference between a rescue and a recovery. The ladders on the outside are the obvious part. Ground ladders ranging from 10-foot attic ladders all the way up to 35-foot extension ladders, each rated to hold the weight of a firefighter in full gear plus the person they're carrying out. But the ladders are just the frame of the picture. What's inside the compartments is where it gets strange. Hydraulic rescue tools, the kind that cut through the door pillar of a car like a tin can. Portable generators capable of lighting up a full construction site. Water rescue throwbacks. Thermal imaging cameras. Forcible entry tools including axes, halogen bars, and powered rotary saws. Medical equipment including defibrillators and advanced airway kits. On a modern pumper truck, you can perform a car extrication, restart a heart, cut through a steel door, and light up a collapsed building, all from equipment carried in the same vehicle. That's not a truck. That's a mobile emergency room with a ladder bolted on top. Now let's talk about the water, because this is where the first number hits you. The onboard water tank on a standard pumper truck holds between 500 and 1,000 gallons. That sounds like a lot, until you picture a backyard above ground swimming pool, which holds roughly 15,000 gallons. The fire truck is carrying less than 7% of your backyard pool. At a working structure fire, flowing 2 hand lines at the same time, that entire tank is gone in under 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That number is not a flaw in the design. It is the most important engineering constraint the entire truck is built around. The onboard tank is not meant to fight the fire. It is a bridge. A survival window while the crew establishes supply lines from a hydrant. The first arriving engine uses that water to make entry, protect a victim, or knock down enough flame to buy time. The moment those supply lines connect, the onboard tank steps aside and the real volume begins flowing. This is the thing most people get completely wrong about fire trucks. The water on board is not the weapon. It is the countdown clock that everything else has to beat. Now here's the piece that actually does the work. Mounted midship on every pumper truck is a centrifugal pump, driven directly off the truck's main diesel engine through a power takeoff transfer case. A standard fire pump flows 1,000 to 2,000 gallons per minute at 150 pounds per square inch of pressure. Your garden hose moves about 5 gallons per minute at 60 pounds per square inch. A fire truck's pump is pushing water at roughly 300 times the volume of a garden hose at more than twice the pressure. The nozzle at the end of a charged 2.5-inch handline is not carrying water. It is carrying a hydraulic hammer. Firefighters trained specifically to handle the reaction force. A fully charged large diameter line at full pressure can knock an untrained person completely off their feet. The pump operator's job during a working fire is one of the most technically demanding roles on the entire scene. Managing inlet pressure from the hydrant, outlet pressure to multiple hand lines, monitoring the tank level, calculating friction loss, through hundreds of feet of hose and adjusting in real time as conditions change. It looks like standing next to a truck. It is actually running a small hydraulic power plant under live combat conditions. Here is the part that genuinely surprises people who think they understand fire. Water is not always the right answer. Electrical fires, certain chemical fires, and specific industrial scenarios react badly to straight water. Water conducts electricity. It can accelerate certain chemical reactions. And in extreme heat, water vaporizes so fast it creates a steam explosion inside the structure. So modern fire trucks carry a second attack system alongside the pump, a compressed air foam system, sometimes called CAFs. Instead of pure water, the CAFs mixes water with a foaming agent and injects compressed air before it leaves the nozzle. The result is a thick, clinging foam that sticks to vertical surfaces, cuts off oxygen to the fuel, and drops heat faster than plain water can. For a structure fire in a wood frame house, a compressed air foam attack can be dramatically more effective than a straight water stream while using a fraction of the water volume. One truck, two completely different attack options. The crew decides in real time based on what they're walking into. But we haven't even gotten to the air. Every firefighter entering a burning structure wears a self-contained breathing apparatus, an SCBA, a high-pressure cylinder of breathable air strapped to their back, connected to a full face mask. Standard cylinders carry between 30 and 60 minutes of air, depending on size and how hard the firefighter is working. Here is the problem. A working fire can run 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours or longer. Firefighters rotate in and out continuously, and when they come out, their cylinders need refilling. A modern fire truck carries a cascade system, a bank of large, high-pressure air storage cylinders, sometimes charged to 4,500 pounds per square inch, stored in a dedicated compartment and connected to a fill station mounted on the outside of the truck. A depleted CB cylinder can be refilled on scene in under 3 minutes. Without that system, every firefighter who runs out of air has to leave the scene entirely, return to the station, refill, and come back. In a large structure fire, that is not a logistics inconvenience. That is a complete collapse of the personnel rotation. The cascade system means the air supply for the entire crew is parked right there at the curb, ready to go. Then there is the generator. A large fire scene at night. Looks like a construction site that appeared out of nowhere. Floodlights on stands, lighting every approach. High-powered fans pushing fresh air into the structure to clear smoke. Power tools running continuously. Equipment charging at the rig. All of it powered by a generator mounted directly on the truck, typically producing between 5 and 15 kilowatts continuously, driven off the same diesel engine running everything else. One engine. Driving the pump, powering the generator, moving the truck, and in some configurations running the compressed air system, all at the same time. A fire truck's powertrain is not just a motor. It is the central power source for an entire emergency operation, running simultaneously on multiple systems. And finally, the eyes. A thermal imaging camera is now standard equipment on virtually every frontline fire truck in the United States. The handheld version is roughly the size and shape of a power drill, with a screen where the chuck would be. In a smoke-filled room with zero visibility, a thermal camera shows heat signatures through the smoke. A firefighter can see the outline of a person lying on the floor from across a room they literally cannot see with their own eyes. Before thermal imaging, finding a victim in a smoke-filled structure meant a crawl and sweep search. Hands and knees. Physical contact with the floor and walls. Now it is a targeted extraction. Locate, move, extract. One camera, hanging on a hook inside a compartment, has fundamentally changed how many people come out of burning buildings alive. Here's what all of this adds up to. A fire truck is not a vehicle that carries tools. It is a self-contained emergency infrastructure platform. It arrives with its own water supply, its own high-pressure pump, its own breathing air refill station, its own electrical grid, and its own thermal vision system. Everything needed to sustain a full crew through the first and most critical phase of any structural emergency. And it has to arrive in under 4 minutes and be fully operational in under 60 seconds. The engineering required to pack all of that into a single vehicle that can also navigate city streets, fit into older fire station bays, and be maintained by a municipal department on a public budget is genuinely remarkable. Every cubic foot of that truck has been argued over, tested, revised, and standardized through decades of hard operational lessons. So here's what you were actually looking at every time a fire truck rolled past you. Not a big red vehicle with hoses. A mobile emergency node that can sustain an entire crew, power a scene, refill breathing air, attack a fire 2 different ways, and locate survivors in total darkness. All from one machine parked at the curb. Now here's what most people never think to ask. Once that truck is working, once the lines are charged, and the crew is inside, there is a completely different set of physics happening in the building itself. The way fire actually moves through a structure, the way superheated gases bank down from the ceiling, the way a flashover builds from nothing to fatal in under 30 seconds. That is an entirely different kind of engineered disaster, and understanding it changes everything about why firefighters make the decisions they make. If taking apart the hidden systems inside the machines and infrastructure around you is what you are here for,